Start with Mark Murphy.
Hey, Brad. Is Evan available to play tonight? And if so, what have you learned about working somebody back in after that long an absence based on what Jason went through?
Well, Jason's not our only one that went through it. We've had several guys that have been through it, and everybody is much different. So I think the biggest thing is we just, we have an open line of communication with the individual. He'll be restricted, but it is very much an individual thing. Everybody reacts a little bit differently. Everybody responds a little bit differently, feels it a little bit differently. And so, you're balancing not only the fact that, he's been through it from the standpoint of, being unwell, but he's also, not been able to do anything for the better part of the last 3 weeks. And so you do balance that. And that's why that you build up rather than throw him back full go and do a 35-minute a game role.
Matt Vitor.
Brett, in Jalen's case, is there a timetable for him? And is there a feeling of how severe bursitis obviously exists in several degrees of how severe his is?
Yeah, not severe from what I've been told as far as long term, but certainly painful, and certainly he doesn't have full range of motion when he's working it out, when he's using it. He's close. Tonight was very much a possibility, but probably leaning more towards doubtful. So, he's day to day after this.
Jamie Staton.
Hey, Coach. Hope you had a good trip down to New York. Both teams are going to be missing some key guys tonight. Can you just share some of your general thoughts on the matchup tonight?
It's the NBA in 2021. You're going to both have people out. It's the way it goes. And they've been really good all year, regardless of who's been available. Obviously, it starts with Kyrie. He's obviously, everybody knows how good he is. But they've got several other good players and guys that, really play a role terrifically around their very best players when they're all available. I think Harris is having an unbelievable year. Shamit's on a great run where he's averaging 19 a game in his last 5. The addition of Blake Griffin, adds a guy that they can play at the 5 and pass through and shoot the ball and all those things. Brown and Green have been great at the 4 all year, and on down the line. Obviously, DeAndre Jordan. They've got a lot of good players. And so we'll have to, it'll all start with Irving, obviously, but, there's several guys that can get you on a given night, as they've done throughout this stretch where they haven't had their full roster available.
Adam Himmelsbach.
Hi, Brad. I know you were kind of blindsided by the news last night, but you have a lot of guys in your team, Jalen in particular, who are really close to Terrence. Have you had a chance to speak to them today? How are guys doing, and kind of what kind of things can you say to them in this situation?
Well, I mean, Adam, there were a lot of guys that were shook on our team. There's a lot of guys that had a relationship with him. Jalen, obviously, very close. So it was they're very much still shook by the news. It's really, really difficult stuff. As far as what I can say, I mean, I just sit there and listen when they need me, and they know I'm available, and you make sure that they know that we have resources available if they ever want to talk to somebody that's more qualified to listen. And so that's all you can do in this situation. Obviously, everybody reacts and responds differently, and there's no right or wrong way. And such a sad, tragic deal. We're certainly feel for his family.
Mark Murphy.
Hi, Brad. Back to Evan for a moment. What will his minutes restriction be?
Yeah, it'll be low 20s, but it'll be very much dependent on how he feels, when you get into that 20-plus range.
Final question, Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad. Jason struggled in the last 2 games. He's done a lot of things for you, rebounding and assists, but 6 for 34. Is he tired? Do you need to give him a game off? How do you think he's feeling? What do you attribute to the struggles?
Well, he's, first of all, you know, we're in constant communication with him about those types of things. He'll get one here in the near future. But, you know, he was, you know, even after the game last night, very, you know, he felt pretty good and was ready to roll. I think the one thing about Jason is he's been, you know, largely available since the COVID stuff. And I think that, so sure, we're all over that. We're on it. Yesterday, you know, it was a good example. I felt like we were rolling at the end of the half and we never put him back in his last stint. We'll try to do more of that here in different opportunities as games go on over the next 13 games. I mean, there's different ways to get guys rest. You know, one of the things that even we did with him was when we practiced Wednesday, we just held him out, you know, and I think that the more that we need to do that, obviously we're very cognizant of him and him being at his best. He didn't seem to feel like that was anything more than a couple tough shooting nights, and he's excited to play tonight.
All right, we'll wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.